Ericade.Radio. Live from the Edison Demo Party 2025. With your hosts, DJ Daemon and Coreus.
Well, hello and welcome to our broadcast. It's DJ Daemon here, and we are, as always, very last minute in the game. Yeah, last minute. Everything is just a bit chaotic. But that's the way we want it, and that's the way we hope you like it.
Yeah, we're back. Things are a bit hectic here. We haven't quite set up everything yet. Still, we're live from Edison 2025, and this year we're on a boat.
Yeah, Borgilla, MS Borgilla, here in the Swedish, Södermälarstrand, which is kind of on the southern side of the Mälaren.
Close to the castle and stuff.
Yeah, very much actually. Very nice.
And we have excellent weather as well.
Yes, we do. I mean, it's 24 degrees and sun with no clouds, and it's sweaty as hell. But here in the boat, we have still working air
it's cool, and but we're still setting up stuff as it were. We have a lot to cover. Also, there are a lot of new things this year, which we'll come back to. But in tradition, we always start with the invitational for the demo party we're covering, and this year it's by Qdor, the Edison 2025 invite by Fairlight.
Yes, here it comes. Yes, that was the intro, in vitro, as it's called, for Edison 2025, and that was Qdor who made it happen.
Indeed, we're live here on location in central Stockholm on a boat. And what's the theme for this year? Every year Edison has had a demo party. There's a theme. What's the theme?
Now it's Seven Sceners.
The Seven Sceners.
Yeah, as the Seven Seas or something, I guess. Because we got more than 7 sceners in this boat.
A bit more. I think the venue can house around 100 people or so. And we have there are many levels as well, so there will be main competition and compo stage is downstairs where we are. We are located at a bar for the first time.
Yeah, actually. But there's no beer here. It's just a bar. So we've set up all the equipment here. It's a lot of screens and monitors and computers and cables going crisscrossing over the whole thing.
Yes, it's quite something looking around. And then there will be upstairs, outdoors. There will be some. Like an area where people can relax and get some fresh air if they want.
Yeah, because the air conditioning is working fine right now, but the question is, if we get 100 people here, how is that going to work with your precious air?
Yeah, I mean they have. I don't think that's a big issue, but if you want to get some fresh air or just change of scenery, that's where you wanna be. This year, we have a lot of content planned, but this year is a bit of a switch, isn't it?
Yeah, but really, we have been invited to actually make a story about all the demos, the music from the compos of Edison for the last 10 years.
Yeah, I think it's more than that actually. Edison goes back all the way to 2011.
Yeah, okay.
So with the exception of 1 year, I think it's been going on every year.
Yeah, and the year that's missing is 2024. They had actually thought about never coming back, but thankfully they decided that they wanted to, and we're very happy to be here again.
That's true. Last year, people were missing Edison, and thankfully we're back.
Yeah, we are.
Radio. From a demo party, live with your hosts, DJ Daemon and Coreus.
You just heard /ATD and a song called Farbi. Well, what's going on?
Well, a lot. We have a setup this time that's quite different from everything else we've done in the past, I think.
Yeah, I understand. That's kind of the thing. Well, what are we waiting for, really? What's going on in the background here?
Well, the event hasn't started yet, and in tradition, we usually start these live broadcasts a bit before to get the feeling of what's going on, the chaos around it, and also I guess the interesting parts of people arranging stuff and wondering where the tape had gone.
Yeah, that's always how it is. At any rate, we are going on with some more music.
I think. Oh, the next one. We can't have. If you thought we could have a live show without just Jackrabbit,
you're wrong.
You're wrong.
Here we go. the bad news when it comes to Jackrabbit, he's called Jackrabbit, is that they didn't sell enough numbers of issues. They
copies?
Yeah, copies, exactly. So they actually, what can I say? They never came out a Jackrabbit number 3.
No, it was in beta for a while, but was abandoned. So that was a work in progress from Alex Brandon, the main title there.
It's a bit sad because I think Jackrabbit is one of the best platformers there are out there.
I mean, at least it's competing pretty well with the well-known other platformers.
Yeah. I guess you have Saga and Sonic the Hedgehog and stuff. We can't compete with that.
The Blue Hedgehog and Italian Plumber, of course.
Yeah.
And Commodore 64 had the sisters.
The Gianna sisters,
yes.
Yeah. What a failure that was. They had to kind of stop selling them because they were copyright protected. The first level of Gianna Sisters is a direct rip-off of the first level of
Super Mario.
Mario Brothers.
But so they stopped selling it because it was a rip-off?
Yeah, they had to. Nintendo sued them.
But Gianna Sisters, so it became kind of like a cult following for Gianna Sisters after that. I don't know the whole story of the sisters. Perhaps we'll dig that up later. That might be an interesting read. But we are here from Edison 2025, and we're on a boat.
Yes, the MS Borgilla, as we said previously.
In the central Stockholm-ish, near the castle and a lot of other famous...
It's a very beautiful site. We can see the Stockholm town center, the city center in the...
Like almost out of the window from the boat. We're almost at sea level out the window, so it's very beautiful. The river is passing us by. From here we're gonna cover Edison 2025 for from 18th to the 20th of July.
Yes, so it is.
And we have the programming is a bit different this year because earlier years we've just kept streaming for a lot of hours. And that was kind of it. But this year we're changing it up a bit.
Yes.
So we are starting with Ericade, which you are listening to right now, and we'll go on for a couple of hours until around 5 o'clock Central Swedish time today. But later on, the Edison live stream starts.
Yes, and it will be 7 p.m. CET or Central European time. So
I just say Central Swedish time.
Yeah, but we know what you mean.
Yeah, and that's
UTC plus 2 if you have a manual clock or something.
And who do you expect to see on that stream?
Yeah, well, it's going to be a lot of people.
Us.
Yeah, exactly.
we will be the dudes commentating that as well. We'll be on the Twitch stream commentating, and there will be an opening ceremony, of course. But we have planned something special to start that event. What is it?
Yes, we will remember the number of hits that were for the demo parties. So you're gonna hear a lot of the good standard things that went to.
I mean, a celebration of everything that's been made throughout the year, because there's a lot of different. Digital art in all its forms.
Yeah.
We're celebrating music in something we're calling the Edison Music History Block. So you don't want to miss that. That's a bit after 7. We have planned a lot of music, and you'll see us on stream as well. That's twitch.tv/. Edison Party.
Yeah, and it's gonna take a while. As we said, it's gonna come on at about 7 p.m. here. And one thing that we have to warn you, it could be delayed because most demo parties are delayed when they start.
It's almost tradition.
Yeah, exactly.
But and then we have after that it will follow the compos for today, and that's the live graphics duel, which will, according to the schedule at least, will be at 9 CET, and then at 10 there will be the TIC 80 byte battle. And for those who don't know TIC 80, we'll go into that a little later on. After that, there's a music act by Gasman, who uses the ZX Spectrum to give you an experience like no other.
That's gonna be great.
So there's a lot of stuff planned for today, so look forward to that. But before we go into the Edison live event on Twitch, we are also have a lot of stuff planned here for Ericade.
Yes.
But the doors haven't opened yet. We are still in preparation phase. We have a lot of displays, cameras, you name it, as thingamajigs over here at the bar.
It's the brain center of Edison.
Yes, and you need to set up something over at Ericade as well, something I've been talking to you about for 2 years.
And I finally fixed it, but we had a little bit of a jumpy start here because we had some technical problems that we solved, so we actually went live exactly on the right time. But what we failed to do was to tell you that it is a demo scene episode, so that's gonna be on the screen soon.
Yeah. So we are. You will look into that, and while you do that, we'll listen to some whiskey drops by Bacter versus Saga musix.
Great.
Ericade.Radio. Live from the Edison Demo Party 2025 with your hosts DJ Daemon and Coreus.
Alright, we had 2 times Summer Love. The first was JosSs, and the second one was Mark TDK, also with Summer Love.
No, that was element number 10.
That's what we're gonna play now.
Oh.
But yes, I got the track list better here, I obviously see.
Okay.
Yeah, but what I was thinking of it is who is coming here? I mean, we have a big list of people.
Yeah, that's EdisonParty.com, where people that are attending can register.
And we can see there has been a number of people that has come from, actually most people come from Sweden, but we have some people that come from Brazil actually, and Norway. Yeah, you come from Norway, of course.
And the Netherlands seems like. And we have also a couple coming from the UK and Germany, so that will be very cool. Also Dojo, he's DJing tomorrow. He's from Revision, if for those who don't know. So he has promised for a long time apparently to come visit Edison, but this year it's finally happening.
Yes, great.
So you can follow what's going on at Edison.
But we shouldn't forget about the demo parties, the demo groups that are here. We have FCK, we have Fairlight, a lot of Fairlight people. We have Nucleus, we have Memory Leak, and Vandelay from Kramerica.
Kramerica?
Yeah, Kramerica. I don't know if it's Hug USA or just a name.
Yeah, we got Insane, of course, represented, and someone from Memory Leak, which I think I met 1 or 2 of them from before. So they're cool people. A lot of very talented and diverse selection from the scene, I would say. So you can watch or follow and read this for yourself, or at EdisonParty.com, of course. There also they have links to their Discord, where you can join and talk to the others, both attending remotely, because there are both remote signups and physical attendees. And we also post some of the stuff that we do from here.
Yeah.
So you can follow that.
Yeah, exactly. Some pictures here. You put a picture of me and you smiling and in front of the camera, and you put that on Retro DJ, your own Discord.
Yes. So yeah, as we said before, you're obviously from Ericade, but I run my own site, the Retro Spirit, and we've been doing together like for the last years. We do like a live show. We call it summer show in a way. Ericade's summer show. And we've been covering demo parties. Last year was Pauga.
Yeah, Pauga Data. Yeah, we had to go to a really remote part of Sweden, but it was fun. It was actually quite nice.
The first day it was pouring.
Yeah, exactly. And I destroyed the screen that you had given to me.
Oh, yeah, that was the DIY screen thingamajig. So yeah, that was a lot of fun, but also a bit hard to get to in a way. Stockholm is way easier.
And I went from Stockholm to Malmö, and then we went over to Lund, and there was I don't remember exactly what the location was, but it was a few train stops on the Lund-Malmö railway.
I had to swing by Denmark first.
Yeah, exactly. You
and yeah, took the very famous Broen. From Denmark to Sweden, by train.
Was it beautiful?
It was. The weather was nice, and the view was actually very, very impressive. Even though there were some windmills dotting the landscape, polluting kind of the view, but still.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, if you want to follow what's going on at the Edison Party, then edisonparty.com, join their Discord, and also check out, of course, Ericade.Radio, where you can both hear us and you can share the stream with others. But I think we are also on Twitch and YouTube.
Yes, absolutely. Going on with the song that you thought we just played, but it's actually coming up now.
And what is it?
It's Mark TDK Night with Element number 10.
There it is.
You're listening to Ericade.Radio, live from the Edison Demo Party 2025.
Well, pizza is my only word right now. Finally, the pizza has arrived, and it's for all the orgas.
Yes, we are helping out, and as we said before, the music played, we were helping out Edison this year, so we're part of the crew.
Yes, that's a nice thing. Call yourself an orga, which stands for
Organizer.
Organize is not orgasm or something.
Yeah, exactly. The next songs, obviously we'll dive into more pizza here, but before we do, I have mentioned or marked this next song as talking point because it's an excellent tune that mixes up the pattern once in a while to a high tempo synth pop tune.
Yeah, that's great.
And this artist has consistently highly rated song on Mod Archive, and for good reason. They're all excellent.
Yes,
he's got his own type of music and production quality. So this is of course Nighthawk with Jet Lag. So enjoy this one while we enjoy pizza.
One man and his ship on a mission to save the galaxy. R-Type.
R-Type, Doppelganger Summer Remix, and it's Lagerfeld. I think it's kind of fun that we have a lot of songs with summer in them. It's very fitting, I think it is.
You think it is a coincidence?
No. You actually thought that out, didn't you? That's great.
We're live here from Edison 2025. We are on a
boat.
That's damn right. We are in Stockholm, Sweden, and we're just minutes before the official opening of the party.
So now there's going to be a lot of people who are jumping in here, setting up their own computers and getting ready to join the
demo party,
demo
compos.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's I mean that's a bit further down the line, because the official stream and all that doesn't start until this evening
at 7 p.m.
7, that's right. But we have planned a bit hopefully we'll catch someone to do an interview. We have some interviews planned, but we are going to talk to a lot of interesting people, and some of them tomorrow at least. And we can tease that it's one of the very well-known, been in the scene for a long time.
Really good person to interview, to just get a feeling about how demo scene works,
and also like all the work that goes on behind the scenes and stuff that's involved there. So that would be very interesting. I've been looking forward to that one for many years. So we'll cross our fingers and hope they arrive in time, because time is we're running a kind of like a more compressed Ericade.Radio.
Yes, it's just 3 hours.
Yeah, this year, but we'll be back as we said earlier later.
Earlier later, okay.
Earlier later will be. It's pizza, it's chaos.
Yeah, I know.
It's all that things, but we'll be back later on the stream.
And now here's something that's gonna rock your socks.
Ericade.Radio. Live from the Edison Demo Party 2025 with your hosts DJ Daemon and Coreus.
Close emotions, day night, cobbles waiting. No one. Wind up, crazy friends and I'm lazy. Tears down, racing. I still remember when you were in love. I felt you happy and I felt you close. I still remember when you were in love, kissing me all night, making me feel nice. Close emotions, day night, cobbles waiting. No one. Wind up, crazy friends and I'm lazy. Tears down, racing. I still remember when you were in love. I felt you happy and I felt you close. I still remember when you were in love, kissing me all night, making me feel nice. Close emotions, day night, cobbles waiting. No one. Wind up, crazy friends and I'm lazy. Tears down,
Yeah. Det blir jättedåligt.
That was, let's see, that was Level of Insanity 1 by Soulborn. Before that we have a slew, a collection of songs, starting with the Aspartame remix by MAF464, who, by the way, is unfortunately not with us anymore. He passed away a couple of years ago. And then we had Chip X by Maniac and Kotaku Pokus by Ninja 9000, which is the alter ego and side thing by the Norwegian artist Ugress. And before Level of Insanity there was Last Ninja 3 by Berserk. I'm unsure where he is from. Do you know?
No, I do not actually.
I have a feeling he's from Germany or something.
Yeah.
If he's listening, he'll give me the
right answer.
Yeah, the right answer. But yes, we're live here from Edison, aren't we?
Yes, and now the doors have flung open, and there is. Well, nobody here. That's the weird thing. I mean, everybody seems to be on the top of the boat. They're waiting to walk down the steps into the big demo scene locals here.
I did actually talk to one of the attendees. Let me search for it really fast here. Yeah, Platon42.
Yeah, okay.
Swedish guy from the group Desire and Nectarine and TTE. So he's competing in the photo comp, which is, I believe, let's see, when is that going on? I believe it's tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow Saturday. That's when the photo comp is going on. Earlier we talked about the compos that are going on today.
Yes, and what are we looking at?
We're looking at the live graphics duel that is at planned for 9 o'clock this evening, and then the Tick 80 byte battle. And as I talked about earlier, TIC80 is fantasy console. And it's been with Edison for a couple of years. And when we were at Edison 2023, we saw the TIC80 Byte Battle live, and it's something to behold.
It's very beautiful. You can see how they program the whole thing and how the screen changes live in real time. Just
like with, for instance, live shader programming. But yeah, the TIC80 is a fantasy video game console, which includes everything you need to make a game. It has integrated tracker, sprite editor, code IDE, and all that. But it has a big caveat, and that's the resolution.
Okay, it's only what?
You're working at 240 by 136 pixels.
That's C64 basically.
Yeah, but you're also coding in that resolution.
Okay.
So it's mind-boggling. I've tried the TIC80 and it's endearing in many ways, but what I couldn't get past was the low resolution. You have so few lines. So looking up how, I'll give you a screenshot here, DJ Daemon. Like here's the editor for the TIC80 when you're programming in it, and it's like you can see here maybe 15 lines you can see at a time.
Yeah, exactly, and you have 40 columns, I guess.
I think almost less, 30 or something. But it's very limited. So like having the overview of what your code looks like, especially when it grows, is very hard, I think. So hats off for those who are attending in that one.
Slightly Magic, the New Year melody. It is slightly magic, actually. Don't you think so?
It is. Like everything here that's happening around us at Edison 2025, we're in a boat, the weather is fine, and the doors have opened.
Yes, so we are seeing people slowly trickling down here, and they will join us on different kind of demo party events.
And we have there are different levels because it's a boat. Of course, the deck is upstairs, and from what I've heard, people are some of the attendees are enjoying some fresh air and nice weather up there. Not being down here at the moment, but we expect them to pour in later on. And before Slightly Magic, we were talking about the TIC 80-byte battle, a fantasy console, which is very limited, but still very interesting to see. And it's as you mentioned, they're competing live on stage. So the head-to-head coding challenge, which has gained a lot of traction. I think Wayland, when we interviewed him last, he was talking about it was the birdie party that kind of was brought it up and brought attention to it. And then once that's done, there's a music act by Gasman. Who does music on the ZX Spectrum.
A real DJ.
And it seems like Edison is blessed with DJs because there's also a DJ Tomorrow music act. It says like it's almost like a couple of music acts tomorrow. It says music act ? At 4:00 tomorrow. But that's we'll talk more about how all of the program for tomorrow. We're focusing on today, and later on today, after we're done with stream for Ericade, we're gonna commentate on the live stream for Edison.
Yes.
So that will be us two.
Gentlemen
talking on stream, and you can watch that on Twitch and I think YouTube as well. But yeah, we'll come back to that once that's hitting the clock. But what's going on now, DJ Daemon?
Right now we're going to the next track, and it's gonna be a game menu from Tank 2007.
beat when you hear the beat.
to Ericade.Radio, live from the Edison Demo Party 2025.
Alright, that was some music. Tiger intro by Carsten Koch. It's from a computer game called Tiger.
Actually, it's from Flying Tigers.
Flying Tigers was the name, yeah.
It's made by one individual. Let me quickly see who the developer was, because he was. It was quite interesting. Let's see, it's here.
Searching here.
Flying Tigers is from 1994. It's a DOS game. It's like a top-down shoot 'em up game. It's by a guy called Jay Kramer, and he got Carsten Koch, which is a pretty well-known composer, to do the soundtrack. And I think the best part of that game is the soundtrack.
Yeah, absolutely. The game itself seems to be pretty standard. It's like 1942 or something.
Yeah, it's nothing special. It's a pretty monotonous. After some levels, you've seen them all, but they had high ambitions at least.
And we got some other interesting things coming up in the interview.
Yes, but before that, perhaps talk about where Edison has been before.
Yeah, that's a good thing. If you know about a little barn, basically, called Eggebygård, which was in Tensta area in Stockholm, northern Stockholm, you know that's where Edison always been. So this is the first time we're doing Edison from somewhere else than just the usual place.
I think in the early years they switched venues, but like on or about Stockholm, around Stockholm. But Eggebygård, they've been for quite some time.
Yeah.
But last year they didn't show.
No, at that time they were more like shutting Edison down. We didn't think we would be getting any more Edison, but actually they're back now. We're back now, and that's a good thing.
Wayland took the right decision and took the reins once again, or the captain's hat, I should say. He and the other crew has been doing fantastic work here. They're still like cable management and putting things up, but it seems also like we have attendees coming in.
Yes, finally. All right.
And speaking of attendees, now we can talk about the interview.
Yes. You spoke to a guy who is what?
I spoke to Miiro. He's from the YouTube channel This Is Geeky. So he actually attended Edison 2023 and made a documentary. So if you haven't seen that, you should look that up on YouTube. This is Geeky, Edison 2023.
He was walking around with a camera on a stick.
And he is this year as well.
Yeah, okay.
So I met him, and we have booked him for an interview a bit later on. So you don't want to miss that. He's a very cool guy.
All right. Some cool music coming up.
Ericade.Radio. Live from the Edison Demo Party 2025 with your hosts DJ Daemon and Coreus.
Radix and Tilbury Fair. You're tuned to Ericade.Radio and our live broadcast from Edison Party 2025.
That's right. And if you just tuned in, we've had talked a lot about the Edison event, and apparently we're now also on Twitch.
Yes.
So that's twitch.tv/Edison Party, I believe.
Mm.
So we're going live and commentating the event as the compo start later on.
Yes.
But before that, we are going to have some more music, and very soon we're going to have an interview as well. And you're looking forward to that?
Absolutely. It's kind of a guy who walks around with a camera on a stick, and he's simply documenting everything that goes on, this nerdy thing that we're doing here, or geeky, I don't know.
He travels the world as a solo vagabond.
Yes.
His own words there. But yes, before that, I think it's time for Sticker 8 by Petite.
Absolutely.
A fun and quirky tune.
What?
All right, that was the music. It was Revenge of the Cats.
Still playing.
Okay.
There we are.
There we go. We were a little bit too jumpy here.
A lot of cables, a lot of knobs and wires and stuff.
Yeah. And here we are. We have a guest.
Yes, we have. If you're looking at the Twitch stream, you can actually see us. We're waving here. That's Miiro. So at the bar, we've been graced by a rather prominent YouTuber who travels around the world to cover everything that's geeky, from cosplay conventions to sci-fi worlds, games, medieval weeks, and demo parties. It's Miiro. Welcome to the desk and the bar.
Thank you so much. Way, it's awesome to be here at Edison and especially at this bar.
Yes, we for the first time we got our own bar and setup, so that's pretty cool. First off, we should just get the basics out of the way. Like, who are you and how did you get started as a YouTuber?
So my name is Miiro, as mentioned, but I also call myself This is Geeky and 3-star Vagabond as well. So I have a couple of different YouTube channels, and I got started with travel vlogging, basically. I wanted to travel the world and show off all the weird things you can find. But then I realized that I kept covering a lot of geeky things. And then it's like, nah, this doesn't work. People who want to see stuff about Sweden don't want to see demo parties. So let's make a dedicated channel all for geeky things.
Right, because you have two channels. This is Geeky, which covers the more geeky stuff, but also 3-star Vagabond,
Exactly.
which is more you said yourself, more professionally produced. I don't know. I think both look exceptionally good. Just put that out there.
I have not bribed this man. I have to say that.
Yeah.
No, but yeah. When we were at Edison 2023 2 years ago, me and DJ Daemon here, we didn't actually see you, but we saw the documentary you made.
So I kept creeping around the edges. Well, this is
but actually,
scary.
I remember I saw you with your stick, with the camera on a stick. So I wonder, what is he doing? Is kind of demo party thing, or I didn't understand. But
it's the newspapers.
Yeah, exactly. So the press is covering Edison. This is big stuff.
Absolutely.
And it's to me, it's like I don't see a lot of YouTubers in daily life, so it's both endearing and I guess a bit weird as well to see people like documenting themselves. But when I see the result, and especially like that Edison, I also see many of your others, and they're very good. But it gave the vibe, and it gave like a very good intro to people who have no idea what this is about. And I think you to me, you explained what the demo scene is a subculture. And that was like almost like a word that triggered like, yeah, of course. Thank you for that. That was very good explaining.
My pleasure. No, it's awesome. I do try to, have a lot of fun and go out and film and interview people and just see what happens. But I also want to have some interesting content to offer, not just random vlogging stuff. I want to have information to give as well.
So what content do you find the most rewarding to create?
Most rewarding, the thing that people watch.
And how do you start that process of figuring out what content is most interesting to your viewers?
So that depends a lot on which channel it is. So if we're talking about This is Geeky, because we're geeks, let's talk about geeky stuff. So
how do you define a geek?
Oh, how do I define a geek?
What is a geek? We are geeks, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. So I typically say that I actually have a video about that when I discuss what is a geek and what is a nerd, and what is the etymology of the word nerd and the word geek. Geek is actually, it comes from circus geeks, circus performers, weird people who were shown off. That were geeks originally, while nerds came in the 40s, 50s. It was mentioned. It was actually a different word at the beginning, but it transitioned into nerds. So just to answer the question, nerds, as I see it, is people who specialize into something. It's people who are skilled, most of the time at least, and skilled and proficient, and they want to dig deep into something. Geeks are more into subculture, more about pop culture, more about things on the fringes of society, but not necessarily digging deep into the subject.
Right, so more like surface level?
Not necessarily. I mean, there's of course a big overlap between the two groups, so to speak.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say that geeks are more surface level. But I mean, of course, there can be a lot of nerdy geeks too.
I think I need to watch that documentary because I myself have a hard time distinguishing between the words.
The way I learned about it was that geeks were like what we today call specialists in different areas, whereas nerds was someone who doesn't know how to behave and kind of dress badly and.
Yeah. I mean that's. A valid definition because no one has a proper definition.
Also, I think like a lot of words and meanings change over time as well. Even though these are rather new, kind of, at least in the definition that we know. So we talked a bit, or we touched on the two channels that you have. This is Geeky, and you also have the 3-star Vagabond. But could you tell us a bit about what's the difference between those two channels in like the content you create?
So basically, when I do something for the 3-star Vagabond, that's basically my main channel because I do a video every week. It's often about something about Swedish culture or Scandinavian culture because that's what most people want to see. But I also cover stuff in Europe, Asia, America, things like that. When I travel, I find it really funny or amusing and interesting to dive into a topic and make a video about that. So for that I do a lot of research and I have an idea that I want to cover. Maybe it's Storsjöodjuret in Sweden, the Great Lake Monster. So what's this all about? Compare it to Nessie in Scotland and stuff like that. So I start with an idea. And then it basically builds from that. But for This is Geeky, it's mostly about covering things that are happening. Like
right now, for
exactly.
Yeah.
And then I don't really need to think about a concept most of the time or an idea because I mean the idea is
already there.
Yeah, what happens at Edison? But what can I add to it? So it's like, this is Edison, but okay, let me explain a little bit about the demo scene as well. And likewise at NADCon, I go into next week is NADCon for the other types of geeks and nerds. So it's a lot of cosplay, anime, stuff like that, and then I try to explain a little bit about cosplay and everything from cosplay is not consent to don't be afraid. I mean, even if you're a fat ugly bastard like me, you can do cosplay.
We'll dive more into the content you create, but first we're gonna dive into some more music, and I think this is Mathland, if I'm not mistaken. I personally requested this one to be the next one, Math and Mathland. So we'll be back after this one.
It's a majestic song, really fantastic. I love it. Mathland and his Mathland RMX. That's a remix.
Perfect for when you're on a boat, which we are.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're here at the bar. It's you're listening to Ericade.Radio, and we're sending live from Edison 2025. Mm-hmm. And with us at the bar we have Miiro from This Is Geeky and 3-star Vagabond fame. Before the song, we talked a bit about the difference between your channels and definition of geeks and stuff like that. But from what I've seen, and you've mentioned before, or mentioned already, you've been to a lot of places. Can you talk a bit about where you have been in the world?
Oh yeah, sure. So this year I've been. Okay, this is. I'm not trying to brag. Seriously,
No.
Saved up for this. I've been waiting for it for a long time. So I've been to Sri Lanka, the Maldives, and Japan so far.
Shit.
Yeah, exactly. So Japan was a geek mecca. I loved it. That's a dream destination. I need to go back next year.
I'm planning to go there as well. So
yeah. You should. And so.
Do you know some Japanese?
Sukoshi.
Sukoshi.
Nihongo ga hanasemasu.
Hi, so it's that. Like, do you? You said when you create content from for the different channels, one This Is Geek, or the channel with This Is Geeky, you're kind of like looking at the calendar, what events are happening now,
exactly,
and kind of like diving. Okay, I want to go there. But for 3-star Vagabond, you're kind of like, okay, I'm researching a subject. What's required to research that subject, whether it's something in Asia or something locally in Sweden.
Yeah.
How do you what goes into that process of filtering what is, especially for the 3-star Vagabond thing? Because This Is Geeky, as I said, you can just look at the calendar and see what's happening now.
Exactly.
So it's
Can I go
laid,
there?
Yeah. It's laid out for you. But for 3-star Vagabond, it seems like you need to kind of cater or figure out what's interesting to your viewers.
Exactly.
So how is that process? How do you start that process of figuring out, I'm going to research this topic? Do you have like a whiteboard?
Yeah. I have a big Excel sheet with ideas, and at first I try to quantify it. So I try to have different categories. First, okay, how interested am I in this topic? How interested do I think that people are when searching for the topic? And how sticky is the topic? Like
staying power.
Exactly.
Right.
And then I try to assign different values, and then I try to come up with a formula and rank everything, and then I try to make videos according to that order. And that was a horrible idea. It sucked completely.
But do you look? Do you compare yourself to others? Do you look at what others have made and see what? Okay, here's something missing, or what can I add to that picture?
I try, but I'm also really sucky at that because I like to do what I want to do. That's the main reason. I mean, you mentioned the YouTube fame, but I'm a really small YouTuber. So, I mean, I have some people who like what I do, and I like what I do. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, of course. That's like the humble craft of burning passion for creating stuff.
Exactly.
And I think that's both humbling and a very noble goal to have. And hopefully when people watch this and listen to Ericade.Radio post fact, then perhaps we can get you some more subscribers, because you definitely deserve it.
Yes, I totally agree. I deserve it. No, but This Is Geeky in particular, I guess that people might be interested in that, but I do have to give a fair warning, because I have a wide span of interests. So I go to retro gathering for retro games and stuff like that, a lot of cosplay events, medieval week, like you mentioned, Edison. So it's not just like demo scene stuff. It's not just this geek sphere.
Of course, like the demo scene and the sphere around that is just one part of the geeky culture. But I think you're also like your landing field for like the audience is very. Is wide, because like I saw that there's documentaries about Sweden and historical things, which is quite interesting as well. You have like when millions of Swedes left for America.
Yeah,
that's a story.
like buying an apartment in Stockholm, everything you need to know, things like that are not geek related at all, but it's valuable still to people that have these questions.
I hope so, because I actually documented when I bought a new apartment, sold my old one, bought a new one. So it was a half-year video, basically, trying to remember to record stuff at various points and then do it. Yeah, now I've been looking at this apartment, stuff like that.
So you have that front of mind all the time, like this, I'm going to create some content in the future using this.
Oh yeah, and I did that with the Sweden solar system as well. You know, Sweden has the biggest scale model of the solar system in the world, with the globe in Stockholm as the sun, and it goes all the way up to Kiruna, where the termination shock, the last vestiges of the solar system ends.
Okay,
so,
wow.
So I guess it's a bit geeky as well, and so that one I filmed during a long time, because you don't go to Kiruna every weekend, right?
You also do Q&A, seems like, and like connecting how. When I hear people ask these questions, I kind of like already know the answer, but I'm still going to answer it. Like, how important is it for you to connect with the community, and like, do you take some of that feedback and create build upon it? Do you create new videos based on comments that you get from people? I
try, but my problem is that I'm a horrible introvert, so I'm actually really socially awkward.
That is not evident from your videos.
No, I do try to hide it, and now as well I do try to, everyone has multiple sides, right? Mm-hmm. So I try to bring out my social and nice side, but then I can spend a week at home just playing Baldur's Gate 3 and Disgaea 5, and it's
good choice.
Yeah, exactly, and I don't want to meet anyone. I don't have the energy for talking to people. I'm horrible at keeping friends. I'm horrible at...
Don't sell yourself short.
No, I'm horrible. I'm a bastard. That's what I am.
No, I think to me you come across as a very humble and approachable guy. So that's a very nice quality to have. I think we kind of touched upon this, but what you find, or upon, like, when you have created how many years do you have you been a YouTuber again?
A bit too many years, because the first years I was just faffing around doing I bought a beer calendar, let's make a video every day when I try a beer. The fuck? What was the point of that? Yeah. So a couple of years was just me doing random stuff.
So is it like recent times that you are kind of focused and concentrated?
Exactly.
Yes. What content do you find, looking at your stats and the videos, what's most interesting to your viewers?
It's impossible to say, because they're all over the place. Sri Lanka, when I was there, I got tens of thousands of people who, this is awesome, and then it's like, but here's a video about Japan. It's a couple of hundred people want to see that. There's no reason, but I have come to realize that people like Scandinavian culture, and it's good if I focus a little bit. So I am trying to focus a bit on Sweden. What's it like in Sweden and Scandinavia? What makes us unique? What are the quirky things we have?
I think especially Asia, like the northern lights and midnight sun and things like that, especially in Norway. But still, the kind of mysterious nature of Scandinavia. And I've heard now there's a new trend. It's called it's not staycation, but like silentcation or something. Like you just want to travel to a place and escape all the noise. And Scandinavia, especially Sweden, northern Sweden and northern Norway, is like there's no one there, quote unquote.
Just the other week, I actually went on a road trip from the southern point of Sweden to the northern point. Oh. The Treriksröset up north in Sweden. So 12 days, just myself in a car and
documenting everything.
Exactly. And I took a side trip to Sarek. A couple of days of hiking. My legs are still killing me, but that's definitely a place where you could see this loneliness, but among all the beautiful nature, and bloody hell, that view from the top of the Skerfe Cliff, that's the most magnificent thing I've ever seen.
Medicine for a soul.
Absolutely, that's so well put.
Well, I can tell you one thing. When I went to New York with a friend a number of 10 years ago maybe, and it was noisy. The whole city never sleeps, and you hear cars and you hear police sirens and stuff. And then I came home and just lay back in my living room, and it was silent. There was nothing there. It was totally like, wow.
Enjoy the silence. I think Depeche Mode put it well.
Yeah.
We have some more questions, and then we'll let you go and enjoy the party. We'll listen to a tune, but this time I have no collection of what it is. So, DJ Daemon, you need to help me out and look at the big thing, or I can look at that big thing. Oh, yes, it's a good one. I'll let you take this one.
Yeah, it's Elwood, and it's called Take Me There, and we will.
Take
You're tuned to Ericade.Radio, and we're broadcasting live from Edison Demo Party 2025.
That's right. And Elwood took us here, and we are taking you to Edison with Miiro at the bar here. And we have just a couple more questions, and we'll let you go, I promise. Before the music, we were talking about like selecting what goes into selecting a new video and how that process is. But I think we should also touch upon how much work goes into an episode, because the ones I watched, and I come back to the Edison because that was at the moment when I watched it most interesting, because I didn't know about you. It was well produced and nicely paced, and it gave a decent insight into events for all of us who weren't lucky to attend. And I'm just wondering how much work goes into creating an episode like that.
Way too much. Yeah, but basically an episode like that, I have to have an idea. Since you mentioned the pacing, I need to have an idea. What am I going to cover? I can't just talk and just end up with a pile of excrement. Oh, no.
Something is happening behind us here.
Oh, someone is flushing the toilet.
Or maybe it's a death metal band. Anywho, yeah. So there's a lot of preparation. So I need to either write a script or at least have an idea for how to paste the video. And what do I want to cover? What do I want to include? Do research as well. I mean, sure, I do a lot of things ad hoc, but I do need to read up on stuff.
So for an event like this, when you come back home and you have all the footage that you want to process, from when you get home to like publishing, how do you plan that in according to like, all right, this takes me a number of days to create, but I'm going to publish it on a certain date. You schedule how much of that goes into?
So it depends. If it's for the travel channel, then I publish one video every week. So I need to schedule in advance and make sure that I need 1 day for doing a rough edit. I need 1 day for the B-roll, and I need to start a couple of days in advance. But when it comes to This Is Geeky, Edison, for example, I have this crazy idea today to try to come home at midnight or 2 a.m. sometime, sit and start editing for a couple of hours, wake up in the morning, edit more, and then submit an entry to the animation/video competition.
That sounds excellent.
Yeah, that's going to be insane if it works. We'll see.
Don't wear yourself out, though. That's is important, because, like, from especially when you have a lot of. From what I see, this is on the 3-star Vagabond. You're publishing around like almost like a once a week, or sometimes more often.
No, it's once every week.
Every week, and that like it takes a toll. It's like you need to plan, and it's kind of like a workflow, continuous process that like you need to kind of think all the time.
Absolutely. I need to have it in mind. I need to always have a video prepared. I mean, it takes a couple of days to edit. It takes a day at least to record something. So and of course doing research takes a day as well. And then we're like, oh crap, that's 4 days for a video. And if I do once every week, I'd better prepare.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see, the episodes. Now I kind of lost the thing I want to say here. Let's see. Yes, so you plan in advance, but you like for This Is Geeky, which is bound to calendar dates. Do you kind of publish it as fast as possible, or do you wait to, let's say, Saturday, because that's a popular YouTube day?
I do it as quickly as possible, because otherwise I need to keep track of that as well. Except in some cases, like I still have footage from Japan that I haven't been bothered to edit because I haven't had time. So I'm going to do a video about Akihabara, for example, and stuff like that. So those I don't release as quickly as possible, but I still do it as soon as I edit. Then it's like, yeah, it's done. I have a thumbnail. Publish. Let's go for it.
Speaking of thumbnails, I know creating thumbnails for YouTube is an entire field of its own. You need to have an segregated face and an arrow somewhere, which annoys me to no end. But do you use do you use templates to speed up the process?
No,
do you have
I'm stupid like that. I just try to find a nice background picture. I have some picture of me doing what is that?
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
I just do a Photoshop, remove background, place myself on top of the nice background, and then that's good enough.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at somewhere like surprised face or angry face or smiley face or thinking face, and then on top of some text in the background.
Some people actually do that. They have these templates, and I hate that when I see some YouTuber exactly the same face in 3 videos in a row. Dude, I get
the same facial expression.
Exactly the same face, literally copy pasted, just with a different background, different text. I get put off by that myself.
I mean, I've said sometimes before that there's an online tool for everything, and I believe there's an online tool for creating your YouTube or a segregated YouTube with an arrow. Yeah, I agree. It's very annoying. But still, like it's also effective because it's and you're working in a field where clickbait is a thing as well, which like people have almost they're used to it even though they hate it. Do you feel like you need to dabble into clickbait, kind of like titles of the videos and stuff like that?
I do actually, but I try to limit myself. I know the worst part is that it works. Because if I do a video, don't do these things in Sweden, they're gonna hate you. Then it's like, 200,000 views, bloody hell, that's tempting.
And it attracts people, right?
Exactly, but then again, I don't like if I do too much of that. So if it's something I actually find interesting, I did a video like that because it was funny. I could do a lot of stupid commentary on everything, so that's fun.
I mean, it also builds your resume and your renommee on YouTube as well. Like people are more exposure, right? Yeah. And that's, I mean, in the end, like you want more people and more engagement with the, like how in the future, how do you see yourself when it comes to creating more content? Do you have like intention more? Like, do you want 1 million subscribers, for instance?
I would like that. I love having a day job as well. I mean, I like meeting people even if I'm an introvert. It's not good to just shut yourself in every day. So I like having a day job, but I would like to have the possibility to
mix
be a
it up.
YouTuber. Yeah, exactly.
So more subscribers, but not too much because then it takes over your life.
Exactly. So give me like 4 times what I have right now, and I'll be like, yep, that's good. No more. No, thank you.
I can stay there. Okay. We'll let you advertise some of the content that's coming out. Do you have any content for 2 channels that you wanna advertise?
Yeah, absolutely. So, of course, advertising. Yeah,
of course.
Let's go for it.
That's what you do.
Which I'm horrible at, by the way. But yeah, so for This Is Geeky, next week is, or of course, I'm going to make a video about Edison to begin with, or 1 or 2. And then next week it's Nerdcon. It's the biggest pop culture festival in the Nordics. Mostly about anime, cosplay, stuff like that.
Nerdcon.
Nerdcon. Yeah,
okay.
exactly.
Where is that?
In Linköping, in Sweden.
Right.
So it's like 10,000, 15,000 people gather, and it's going to be awesome. I love it. And then the week after that, I'm going to Gotland for the medieval week. So those are some pretty big videos coming up, I would say.
Do you find yourself like joining in, like on the cosplay side? Like bringing your own chainmail just to...
Oh, absolutely. So I have a Viking outfit for medieval week. I need to bling it a bit more. My sister has made a lot of embroidery, so I'm going to try to sew it on my costume.
That's cool.
Yeah, and for Nerdcon, since it's cosplay, I just bought a new cosplay costume from Doki Doki. The people in the know, they know.
Yeah. Doki Doki, yeah.
Yeah, so it's from Genshin Impact because I'm a sucker for gacha games. Yes. And it's my husbando that I actually don't have. It's Rossley. I can't pronounce his name. Fuck it. But he's cool.
That's I mean it's it's a fun what's it called, tidsfördriv in Swedish, like the spare time thing.
Yeah, exactly, spare time.
All right, we'll let you go, but first you had a track you want to hear. What was that?
I want to hear Desert Rocks from Turrican 2. It's the music for the first level. Most people like the intro music, but screw that. I want to hear the first level. That one rocks. Pun intended.
I agree, but what's your remembrance of the game? Like, did you play it back in the day?
Yeah, absolutely. And the interesting thing is that I have to say that all European platformers are pretty sucky. Amiga and C64, it's pretty shit compared to the NES, for example. But
they're very harder, at least.
Harder, and the controls are pretty bad. Sorry, guys, it's just not very good. But the music and the art was good. A bit European, but the music in particular, Chris Julesbeck, bloody hell, that man can twist a piano to do incredible things. So I booted up the game, and even though I felt like, this is hard, this is difficult, I just kept listening to the music.
The music kept the drive up and made you go. Thank you so much for your time here at the bar and Edison 2025.
And thank you so much for letting me be here. It was awesome.
No problem. Enjoy the party. And here is Desert Rocks from Turrican 2. And what was the composer again?
Chris Hulsbeck.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're listening to Ericade.Radio, and we are ready to leave the airwaves.
Well, kind of, I guess. The Ericade radio stream will continue to play some songs, but you will not hear from us until a little later in the evening, where we are gonna commentate from the Edison party itself.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for listening, and here is the last song out, is Shamantic.
And follow, just look at twitch.tv/Edison Party, and we'll be back a little later, so we'll see you then.